This is the Bitcoin 1 month overview reading for the month of June 2024. It's currently May 21st, 2024, 6:51 p.m. Eastern Time. Bitcoin at the time of this reading is $70,125.18. That's USD. The shuffle video for the June Bitcoin reading was created on May 2nd, 2024 at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the video playing for you in the lower left corner. The overall theme and behavior for Bitcoin in June, we have a rally that's halted by a decline through key support on a multi-day scale. It's crossed with an overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple support levels. Behavior around the high side, we have the Magus card indicating a significant move into and or out of the high and offering a significant trade opportunity. Behavior around the lowest low for the month. The Universe card, the biggest decline in the deck, indicating that we have a really notable decline on a multi-day scale taking us into the low. Now I'm going to get into the day-by-day chart behavior as well as timing the high highs and the lowest lows. But before I do that, I just want to make sure you're aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube tips. And that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. Let's get back into it. On the first, we have a rally into a prominent peak on a 1 month scale. That rally offers trade opportunity. I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. On the second, we're bound by a multi-day range. There's a lowest low thus far there on the second as well. And then we have another prominent peak on a 1 month scale there on the third in the midst of a sideways S formation within a channel. So that's a decline from resistance to support. We reverse, go all the way back to resistance, reverse, go all the way back to support. And then we return back to a lowest low with sideways rotation on the fourth. That sideways rotation continues, looks like into the end of the day where we have a rally into a high on the, looks like that sideways rotation ends with a high, a highest high of the month on the fifth. The only thing is that ruin in that positioning indicates some sort of possibility of being misled. So I want to be very careful about that. It's probably a high side thus far. When we sell from it, down 2 and through support on the 6th, we do a U-shaped reversal below the support, come back and reuse it as support, and we rally into the 7th where we have key resistance. We sort of flatten out there, and then the decline off of that resistance on the 8th commences. A peak on the 8th, that might actually be a highest high there, so there's a possibility. There's a couple places where it might be. So the peak on the early in the day on the 8th, we decline pretty notably. It's an important opportunity on the 8th that'll really stand out, an improbable move. And we decline on the 9th, increasing with momentum moving forward into a lowest low on the 10th. And there's a fake out of some kind, intentional fake out or shake out of some kind on the 10th at that lowest low. I should say lowest low thus far. On the 11th, we have a near overbought crest that we sell off from pretty notably. This might also be an important day. It's got a correlation to both the theme and the crossing card. There are, in some of the June readings, there's a high somewhere around the 10th, 11th, so we might have a crest over here, it's possible. But this crest, this near overbought crest that we sell off from through multiple supports continues into the 12th. And then on the 12th, we have a fast 70 higher ending a decline, taking us into resistance on the 13th. And that resistance we decline from and then return back to probably on the 14th or the 15th. So you could open up a short position and then get into a long position and use that price level as an entry exit. I'll talk about it in more detail in the paid version. A notable reversal on the 14th that will stand out amongst other reversals throughout the month of June. And then the last place where we might actually have a highest high here, probably not, but there is some possibility of it here on the 15th with 3 pokes through the same price level followed by a sharp drop off at the third poke. On the 16th, we have a rally or prominent move higher and a full retracement of that move. And then on the 17th, the unicursal hexagram, a prominent peak on a 1 month scale at key resistance that we failed to break through many times before, and a sharp decline from that resistance into a trough on the 18th. A lot of volatility on the 18th, a big decline early in the day on the 18th, another prominent trough on a 1 month scale. But we very well returned back to that resistance from the 17th. We probably returned back to it on the 19th. Multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on the 19th. You know what, before we go any further, let's take a look and see how we did for April. Same kind of scenario where we had a highest high somewhere here in the first few days, and then possibly again around the 4th, 5th, and possibly again around the 7th or the 8th or the 9th. And it looks like we had a highest high here on the 1st, 2nd, not quite on the 4th, 5th, close, but not quite. And then here on the 8th, we had our highest high for the month. So that's pretty solid thus far. Lowest low, I missed this ruin right here. A little bit off, 21st, 22nd. Yeah, it looks like I was a little bit late there. Prime peak on the 25th, and then back into trough on the 29th. So it looks like we were a little bit late there. Overall got the highs, the lows we were a little bit off on, but still kind of the overall pattern very, very accurate. As far as trades are concerned, on the 2nd, you could open up a long position and close a long position on the 4th, 5th. That would have been a pretty solid trade right there. You could open up a short position on the 4th, 5th when we put through that resistance right there, and close that short position on the 7th. That one wouldn't have been so great. Open up a short position on the 7th, maybe add to it on the 9th, and close that on the 11th. So it would have been better to close it on the 10th or close it on the 12th, but even on the 11th still would have made some money. The 17th, you could open up a long position in the midst of this Princess of Cups decline on the 1 day chart. You could have closed a long position the very next day or the following day. Either of those would have been very profitable trades. And then on the 21st, you would have opened up a long position based on this. Well, it wouldn't have been a lowest low, so many people probably wouldn't have, but if you did, you would have opened up a long position and you would have been able to close that the same day or the very next day. And then on the 26th, you could open up a short position at that resistance we failed to break through many times, close it the following day at a prominent trough. Or if you missed those opportunities, you would have been able to close it on the 29th as well, or 29th here, or the 30th. Not my best reading, not awful, but what we've done recently is we modified the crypto spreads, because I think the part of the issue being that there's just too many cards being used. So it reduces the ability to get to the day. So we've reduced that. We've modified the spread for our June reading. If you notice, there's less cards. And I think this will have a significant impact on our accuracy. But overall, not awful. Most of those trades were still pretty profitable. There was one in there that wasn't. But aside from that, they were all pretty profitable. So anybody trading responsibly with this information would have done pretty well. If you're interested in supporting the channel, a great way to do that is through our services. All right, so the multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance on the 19th turns into price swings on the 20th, which turns into, in the price swings, a lowest low on the 21st, out of which there's a big move to the upside, even in the face of seemingly overwhelmingly negative chart behavior. There's still a big move to the upside out of that low. Remember, big move to reach the low. And then on the 22nd, we have a notable move higher, turning into a sideways crisscross 3 times through the same price level on the 23rd. That takes us into a peak on the 24th, from which we decline pretty notably. Decline continues into the 25th. We might have another lowest low here around the 25th, 26th, or maybe even the 27th, 28th. Decline on the 26th, to and through support to be another support. We rotate sideways along that support into the 27th. There's a sharp drop on the 27th in that period of sideways rotation, and we revisit the support level we recently met once before. A rally along a diagonal trend line on the 28th ends with a fast move higher, and then a breakdown through that diagonal trend line with increasing volatility on the way down. There's an important support level on a 1-year chart scale highlighted on the 29th. And then we have a huge move to the upside off of that support on the 30th, reaching for distant resistance. Looks like there's a highest high in July. And that's Bitcoin for June 2024. Let me know what you think by hitting that like button. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma. You know where to go. You know what to do. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the Discord channel. Stay tuned if you got the paid version.